Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a New York football fan, I either have really good news for you or really shitty news for you, depending on what team you like. Now, the New York Jets, what a signing that was. 4 years, $54 million, I believe, for Leveon Bell. I think that that's an awesome contract because you know what? After those 4 years, he probably will be out of his prime. But I think you're going to get a really productive 4 years out of Le'Veon Bell. With the acquisition of Adam Gase, who is a quarterback whisperer, you saw what he did with Ryan Tannehill. I thought that that was really an awesome signing, in all honesty. I think the Jets are making some good moves in this offseason. I think Gase can definitely help Darnold out immensely. And now with the acquisition of Le'Veon Bell, I mean, it just it just relieves that much more pressure off of Sam Darnold now. Just Le'Veon running the ball relieves a lot of pressure off any quarterback, in all honesty, and I think that's why Big Ben had so many interceptions this year is because he didn't have Le'Veon Bell as his go-to running back, and as a guy who can catch the ball in the backfield, he can do a lot with it. So I just think that in general, Le'Veon just relieves pressure off of most players that he plays with on the offensive side of the ball. Now, that is an amazing signing. Happy for the Jets. Actually, no, I'm not. The Jets fans, scumbags, even though some of my good friends are Jets fans, I'm sorry, but you don't deserve Le'Veon. But anyways, now the Giants. Now, this one's upsetting. So, as it is, they pretty much let Landon Collins go in free agency for nothing. He actually signed with the Redskins, so now that NFC East just got that much more interesting. So they trade Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns for Jabril Peppers, a first-rounder, and a third-round, and I think it's 2 third-round picks, 1 third-rounder this year and a first-rounder this year. So I don't understand this. I really don't understand what the fuck the Giants were doing with this. So you pretty much let Landon Collins go in free agency. I get that. Now you pick up Jabril Peppers, who's been somewhat riddled with injuries this last year and a half, since September. And so a year. But pretty much, like, I just don't understand this. So now you're getting Jabril Peppers, who can fill in for Landon Collins, right? Who has had some injuries since we've seen him in the league. And I don't know necessarily if this was the right move. Now, you do get a first-rounder. You now have the 6th and the 17th pick in the draft. In my opinion, for the Giants to make up for this shit trade, honestly. I mean, they signed Odell to a fucking 5-year, $90 million contract. So I thought that he was in their long-term plans, especially with the acquisition of Saquon Barkley in the draft. I thought they really had something going. But anyways, I think that with the 6th pick, and I was talking about this with my friends Dylan and Kolesnik last night, you got to get DK Metcalf. Now, the reason why I say that with the 6th pick, you get DK Metcalf, is because he is honestly the best receiver in that draft, I think, by a long shot. I mean, his combine numbers are absurd. And the last time we saw a receiver get picked that high in the draft and has really performed up to that level was Julio Jones. And I think that DK Metcalf has that kind of potential. He's a big body. He's fast. He can jump. He can go out and he can get the ball because of his big frame. I mean, I just think that you should go with DK Metcalf now. Now, the question is, what are you guys going to do with Eli Manning? Boom. 17th pick in the draft. If Dwayne Haskins is around, which I'm not sure he will be, but there are some questions about him, you got to draft him or the quarterback from Duke, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. You got to get someone as a backup to Eli, just to learn under him and really to develop, because right now it's just, I don't know what the Giants are doing. Eli is not going to carry you to the playoffs by himself. He never has. He needs a full team surrounding him. And even in that 17th pick, if you have a good defensive end on the table, you might as well grab it and start building your team really from the bottom up at this point. You really don't have much. You do have these 2 first-rounders this year, which is definitely a good start. But, man, you got rid of Odell. He was honestly, I mean, he was up there with New York's most beloved athlete with Porzingis, fuck him, and what's his name? Aaron Judge. So, you know what? Just not loving this trade from the Giants' standpoint. You got rid of Landon Collins to pick up Jabril Peppers, who's pretty much the same player, and I think that Landon Collins might even be a little bit better. However, Jabril is from the Metro New York area. He went to Paramus Catholic. I know he went to Bosco for a year. I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but I believe he's from North Jersey. So, good homecoming there for Jabril. I'm sure he's thrilled to be back in the metropolitan New York area instead of in Cleveland. I think any human being with a brain would rather live in New York or New Jersey than in Cleveland, Ohio. But you know what? Odell now is paired up with Jarvis Landry. The Browns are making some real fucking moves. And people are also forgetting now Kareem Hunt is suspended those first 6 games of the year. But they have Kareem Hunt, they have Odell, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb. I mean, that offense is starting to look potent, and that defense is not looking bad either. I mean, they've been, these last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years, they've been acquiring a lot of assets on their team, but they haven't really been able to put them to use. I think part of that reason is because of Hugh Jackson. But I think this is a totally reinvigorated team. Freddie Kitchens is now the head coach. It definitely should have been Greg Williams, in my opinion, but it is what it is. But yeah, Jets, man, the Jets and the Giants, it's just crazy how the tables have turned. The Giants, man, they always kind of shit on Giants fans for kind of being second fiddle to the Giants, which they clearly are, because the Giants have won 4 Super Bowls since the 90s, or late 80s, I should say, and the Jets have won a big fat 0. So, honestly, the Jets fans, I am kind of happy for you. I don't like to admit it. But it just, overall, I just think that these are two of the biggest trades, two biggest, one was a trade, the other one was just a free agency signing. These are two of the biggest topics in sports right now, and they're both happening in New York, so I thought I'd just shed some light on it and my opinion on it all. Don't know what's next for the Giants. Maybe a quarterback at 17th, or DK Metcalf at 6. I think that if he's on the board, DK Metcalf, you should definitely take him. I think he's projected like 10 or 11. So if the Giants want to make up for Odell, draft DK Metcalf, see what happens. I don't think it's a bad draft pick at all. I don't see him necessarily being a bust. There's nothing that really shows me that he's going to be a bust. His combine numbers were absurd. And so I just think overall that the Jets definitely won the offseason so far. We'll see what happens when it comes to other free agent signings and the draft that's coming up in April. So we'll see what's happening, guys. But just wanted to shed some light on it. Thank you for listening. Reed Orlando here. And if you haven't done so already, go follow Reed SPN on Instagram. Thank you.